everyone, welcome back to another art time lapse. Today, the piece is called BFFs, Best Friends Forever. I have done a piece very similar to this, I say, probably around 7, maybe 8 years ago. I did it with acrylic on canvas, and I sold the piece when it was displayed at the community center. Lately, I've been reveling over doing a piece again, something similar but like with a different spin on it. It's always nice to redo a piece just to kind of rediscover myself in terms of like my skill set, what have I learned, and like I also try to change the color scheme to kind of see like what kind of colors have I matured into. So yeah, I feel like this piece is like a test for me to retest myself and like rediscover myself and see if there's like a new skill I've learned or something that I've grown from compared to my previous piece. So one thing I've discovered, I would say, as I'm drawing over this year and I'm reflecting over pieces I've done, is that I really enjoy painting watercolor, gouache, and like I really love doing cloud work. Unfortunately for cloud work, like the way I paint clouds is that like the paint needs to be still like semi-wet in the process, and there's like this perfect timing for it, which makes it difficult because as some of you have been following my channel for a while now know that like I have little children on my own, and it's really hard for me to gauge how much time I'll have to paint. Sometimes I try to have my workstation always ready for me to get started and start painting when I have time. But once I get it wet and I have to paint out, like it takes a bit of time to warm up and get to a stage where I want to. So I find that like it's really hard to kind of figure out that happy medium. So here I'm painting some clouds, adding in some darker shades. In the beginning, I used my gouache quite diluted with plenty of water, and you've seen that I've done a really light wash in the background and just adding bits of clouds as the bottom layer dries, and the top layer I add on with less water mixed in. So I'm just taking my time and coloring my clouds. I am using like a shade of purple, but not like a pure purple. I mix like a little bit of magenta with cobalt blue to get these kind of shades. I love colors that are not like flat but have different dimension depending on how much water I add onto it and the different combinations of colors that I use to mix it so that there's different shades, even though it is like just considered like a darker shadow type color, if that makes sense. Anyways, here I'm just slowly adding in the waves. My intent is to have like a sunset with some beautiful fluffy clouds in the background, and then I also have these two best friends that are hanging out enjoying a sunset. I feel like as I'm aging slowly now, I don't think I'm like considered young, but also not considered old. I also often think about like what are experiences that I am really grateful for, things I really enjoy when I was younger compared to things that I really enjoy now as I'm older. So I also try to imagine how it would be like a couple years from now. Like what are things that I would really hope I would have the opportunity to do with my best friends? Maybe hanging out at a beach, watching a sunset together. We'll be hanging out in our bathing suits despite having like saggy skin and like not the best figure, but still really enjoying our best selves and being comfortable with our body. Here as I'm painting, you're gonna see like a little hand coming in and out, and that's gonna be my younger son who's just woken up from his nap, and he's just giving some suggestions and direction on different types of color combination that I should add. So at this point it's a little bit hard to kind of struggle with him on my lap and trying to paint at the same time, but at the same time I'm very excited to be showing him this artist side of me and what I like to do, what I like to paint, and I hope that they will have this interest in the arts in the future as well. So here, speeding things up a little bit just because I have my little one on my lap. I want to really maximize that paint that I've just pulled out. And yeah, now it's starting actually another brand new day. Everything has fully dried. You can see that the gouache, once it dries, is a little bit lighter for the lighter colors and darker for the, lighter for the darker colors and darker for the lighter colors. I'm just adding in some darker shades to create more definition for the clouds as well as the waves. As it is right now, I feel like the pastel-y light blues and also light pinks are really beautiful as it is, which is perfectly fine, but I feel like adding a bit of contrast would just create so much more dimension and so much more depth with the piece. Here, speeding it up, I think at this point I probably spent around, I would say probably at least 3 hours on the piece. It's hard to say because I do it in segments over like a couple of weekends. Usually I do a lot of painting on my weekends when my kids are napping, and this is when I catch up on my artwork. So here you can see there's a little bit of a shadow and reflection casted from the sun onto the water, which I've added a shades of the yellowy orange early in the piece. So I do a lot of my light colors in the beginning and gradually layer on darker colors. I think it helps save paint as opposed to doing a lot of darker colors and adding lighter colors on top to like cover up the dark shades. I think the hard part is struggling to figure out what the fine balance is in terms of how much dark colors and how much light colors you add. Honestly speaking, I haven't been to a beach myself to look at a sunset in a long time. I think one of the most treasured memories I have of watching a sunset, maybe with my significant other in Hawaii, or going to Taiwan, having coffee and enjoying a sunset with some of my friends from when I was in my university days. But frankly, since having children, I just haven't really had the opportunity, and I wonder if is it because I just don't make time for it? Lately I've been thinking about, am I making excuses for not doing certain things because of children? But I think if I make an effort to, I can make anything happen. We did bring our kids recently to the beach for the first time, and they absolutely loved it. They saw a giant boat or ship that came by the water and created these giant waves that lapsed and onto the ocean from to the beach, and they were just so excited. Of course, they're still very small, and I think my smaller one actually got knocked over by a wave, and she was not entirely impressed with that, but it definitely enjoyed the first experience playing on the beach with sand and watching seagulls coming about trying to eat our dinner. I think they're more skeptical of seagulls now, and just Canadian geese in general, because they realize that a lot of times they're coming to attack them with their food, and my kids are not entirely impressed by that, even though they really love birds, because my son's really into dinosaurs lately, and I think he's slowly getting the idea that dinosaurs and birds are very similar to a certain degree. So here you can see I'm just adding more layers of darker colors, and the reflection is coming through. I'm now adding in a lighter, kind of light apricot, to mark down where the two girlfriends will be hanging out on the beach. They'll be kind of midway to the knee with water, and they'll be just hanging out, chatting each other, looking at the water, the scenery, the birds flying by, and the sun on the top. I want them to have giant sun hats and these bathing suits that feels they're not perfectly fitted, I guess, but it's okay, because it's not about necessarily the fashionista outfit. It's about enjoying the moment and enjoying the process. I imagine that when I'm older, I'm not gonna look amazing in a bathing suit anyways. I think I just have to accept that. But here I'm gonna add a cane for one of the ladies as well, to show that they're maybe a little older, need additional support, and that's okay. And a cane is by no means going to be something that is a barrier for me to go enjoy the sun and enjoy the beautiful nature that is outside. Here I'm just adding in a little bit of white, just showing you a closer look at the piece. You can see I'm adding in some darker shades. Of course, there's a shadow being cast on their face, and also different parts of the water. So yeah, I'm wondering if I should add a larger bottom with these ladies. So realistically, I think that my bottom will grow a little bit larger over time, and that's okay. So yeah, I hope that I will become more comfortable with myself, my body, and in general over time. And I want my children to have the same mindset, that it's okay to be as you are. So that's about all the commentary I want to add for this piece. Thank you so much for following on this journey as I paint this sunset with the BFF in mind. And I'll see you in the next video. And like always, if you like the content of this channel, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. It really, really does help a lot. And for those of you who have already subscribed, thank you so much for continuing to join me on this artist journey. I sincerely do appreciate you being a part of it. So with that said, stay safe and stay creative, everyone. Bye for now.